Good afternoon. It is Barbara, the East Coast Dragon Lady, coming to you on a really sort of dreary weekend we've had here in the Northeast. Um, it's been cooler. I think yesterday was only like 67, so we've gone from extreme heat to more seasonal weather. Oh, 68 today. I know it was about 62 when I woke up this morning, and then we've got some rain coming. So yeah, it's next week looks like in the 80s, but this weekend has been miserable. Um, if you checked out my video, there was two videos. I got them completely backwards. And if you remember, I did say that my brain was still a little bit. I know what they gave me as a sedation when I had my procedure. Um, Propofol should be out of your system. I don't know, it did something. That's all I can say. I had a very interesting week at work, with, again, thinking I've done something and I haven't. Or I'm also going to myself, maybe I'm just getting old, and that happens. It's sort of scary because there is dementia in my family. But one of the things they say is if you're recognizing it, then it isn't, is when other people um, recognize it and you don't. But anyway, I got one and two as backwards. So there we go. It happens, right? So I'm actually jumping on now because I'm actually going to be meeting with Dina at 1:30, and I think we're hoping to produce a brief video about our upcoming event next Saturday from 11 to 1:30. We did an early bird special. A couple of you took us up on it. So it's $55, and we're going to be doing, we're going to call it a community event, because we want everybody to experience the meditation, the energy that comes in, whatever it has to tell us as a community, and then individual readings. I'll pull a couple of cards. Dina will do some channeling. There'll be some light language. So we hope you can join us. We are charging $55 for that event. So you can email me or Dina, and we'll send you a link closer to the event. I know I've been, as I always tell people, I'm very challenged technologically. If I can get something up, I believe Dina told me the QR code had changed. Apparently it was taking you to an old event. So again, cancel, clear, delete that. But just email me or Dina, and we'll give you a payment link, and we'll send you a link to the Zoom. I do believe we're going to record it, so it will be available after the event as well. So yeah, I'm still posting. I'm still trying to get more people to check out my videos. I don't know what happened to the algorithm. I don't know how I can have 800 people view a couple of videos and then it drops back down to 11. But there we go. So I'm trying to just keep moving each day. I have, so I haven't officially got results from my biopsies. I've seen them, and they're somewhat confusing because I don't understand some of the things they found. It doesn't look like it's cancer, which was the biggest worry, of course, at my age. But there's something not right. So I don't actually see her till the 1st of September, 1st or 2nd of September. So I will know more then. I'm sure there's going to be more to come on that. So yeah, I'm just moving each day. I feel a little bit better knowing that something was found, even though I don't really understand what I'm sure it's going to be confusing because I never seem to have anything that's straightforward, other than when I've had my arthritis and had my knee replacements, that was straightforward. Everything else has always been, well, it could be this, but it might be that, or this looks funky, but so we will see. So that was a little bit of a didn't have to worry once I got those results. I've been pulling cards each day, if you've been following me, with some interesting dragons. And also today's dragon that I pulled, that I just posted, reminded me very much of how directive always the dragons that I've worked with are very, I call them prescriptive. They will say, you do this, then you do that, and then you do that, and then you do that. And they're actually saying, yeah, and we can't interfere with the human things. So I'm like, okay. So because I'm thinking, well, why aren't you directing me in those things? And they're like, yeah, they're out of our so when it comes to our human experience, they're there to support us. They really can't. They're going, we can't mess with the medical stuff. That makes sense. So the Peapod dragon, and yesterday was the tea dragon, which I thought was very fitting for me. And as I was writing about it to put it on my page, I realised that again, it's very, very British. And some of you might even be like, what's steeping? So back in the day, so my father we used to always have in England, the big pot, and they used to use loose tea, and then you boil the kettle, and then you pour the hot water, and you let it steep. That's what they call it, steeping. So you allow the hot water to get the flavour out of the tea leaves, and then you strain it. These days you can get strainers on the inside, but we used to have the old-fashioned strainer on the cup, and my mum used to keep topping it up. My father hated when tea bags first came out. He used to say that they were what do you say? They sweep up the loose tea on the floor. That's how he viewed it. It was like nasty. There's still a good way of doing it. When I have family visiting, like when my brother's here, we do sit down with pots of tea. I still boil the water. I don't like doing it in the microwave. I boil it, and then I pour the hot water on and let the tea bag sit, and then we can keep topping it up. And I was like, oh, that's still very it's and always tea at 4:00. I guess I grew up with that tradition. Even sort of we used to have these little sandwiches as well. I'm sure it was to take the edge off your appetite for dinner, because we would always have a cooked dinner around about 6:00. But oftentimes little sandwiches. You have high tea, which would be cake and sandwiches and things like that. But yeah, I missed that sort of tradition, and the places I found that do those sort of tea things are like $100, $70 to $100 for tea, and I'm like, I want a nice dinner for that. But the Peapod dragon, very, very prescriptive, and I actually liked the message because it really spoke to me. It's, what are you doing with your time? The Peapod dragon shows up when things are a bit messy or scattered. Have you caught yourself worrying about things growing out of control? Do you have enough time to balance business with self-care? If your answer is anything other than, of course, time to get yourself better organized. Write out all the things you have to do in a day. Make sure self-care is on that list. Now arrange those tasks into groups of similar things. Make sure you lay out a timeline that you can stick to. Use this to plan a party, arrange a meeting, or even organize a march, which again made me realize this was published in the 90s, did I say? Been published quite a few times. 2019 was the last copyright. but my bet is this was written before then. We have to talk about protests, but that's what a march would mean. When you actively take charge of your time, you find more time for all your activities. So that is the Peapod dragon. So yeah, these little dragons have got a lot of energy. And I did post, I just remembered I was looking back over the week that it was last weekend, I don't remember when it was, but I went outside late afternoon, and there in the sky were these huge, I mean huge, when I say huge, if they're posted on my Facebook page, I'll see if I can show you on here. This is sort of one of these huge dragons, which first of all, sometimes when you take pictures and you stand back, I think there's a bit of glare there. It's actually the head of the dragon. I thought that was multiple dragons, and then above me there was a lot of tails. But this looks like the face of a dragon here, like literally. And I've had a lot of I called it a flyby, because they were so big. That I was just catching like the end of their tails, but that was a head. And what was interesting about these dragons, that they were going in a completely different direction than I normally see them. I usually see them going towards the east, east. And sometimes when they come back from, like especially storm dragons, I see them going out and I see them coming back. These were going southwest. And I was just like, there's something. And what I briefly got was that Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, was calling out to the dragons. And as she's calling out to the dragons to gather, so they were actually going off planet, they told me. So this is why these big, much slower dragons were going. These are the ancients, and my dragons that I've connected with for quite a few years. They were they said they were meeting off planet. And then I saw extraterrestrial ships that also told me that they were going. So I saw pods, and often when I see those pods, sometimes it's dragon like these they were pods of craft that had been put in the pods so they could move faster, and they were also going. So there was a call. When I've seen myself on peace missions in my previous lifetimes or my parallel lives, I'm always on a peace mission, and I've seen some of these gatherings where there's extraterrestrials, it's like the Pantheon. It's just tier after tier after tier, packed with big, small, huge. Like the dragons often have to sit at the back because they're so big, all mixed up, because when there's a peace issue, they're all going to go, and they always meet off planet. I've been on a craft that was also going. That was my first time when I was told that I was part of a delegate peace mission. So part of my being here on Earth is also about being a spokesperson, not just for the ETs, but for my galactic friends. I don't really like calling them ETs, but you know what I'm talking about. When I say galactic, that could be dragons. It can also be the Nine, which is a group that have been communicating with me sporadically. Sometimes I get a lot of information and then not, and it sort of goes backwards and forwards. But that's sort of, so there's something, and I think it's because the state of not just the United States, but the state of the world, and some of the things that are happening, it's causing concern for other beings, especially when the nuclear word comes in. But that's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, just be aware of what's going on. Even I find I don't watch the main news, but even some of the people I've been following, I've got a little bit like, I don't know, I just feel like not getting the truth. And that's, if you remember a few months back, I was getting messages saying they're not telling you the truth. We're not getting the truth. So I would just say, hold on. So I thought I would pull, this isn't going to be a very long video, it's 15 minutes already. I thought I would pull some cards for the week. Let's just see what the message, I'm just going to use the Garden Dragons again. They're really happy that I'm using them. They're really happy that I'm getting their messages out. This is just another, for me, it's just another group of dragons. And as I have evolved and become more open, I've shared with you how I connected with the fairy realm after years of not realizing that when I grounded, I was going through their realm. So these have that same sort of mischievous energy. I always see that fairy energy as mischievous. Oh, and the other thing that has come up for me, and you've probably been seeing this, talking about the eclipse. We're in the middle of the eclipse. There's an eclipse coming at the end of the month, which will soon be here. So we were like midway, and a lot of old stuff is coming up for us to clear. And I realized that it isn't people. This is like illnesses for me. Many years, at least 20 years ago, I had so I've been divorced 26 years. So it was just after my divorce that my whole body just reacted. And I had what was affectionately called my inflammatory disease. That's what they used to like to say. They didn't know what to call it. So they used to say, basically, my body was on fire. And I had many different tests that showed positive for some things, but a lot of that is coming back, and I'm thinking it's coming up to be cleared. So I'm going to look at that because I'm seeing some of my I'm a Pisces, and it's saying like an old love may be coming forward, and all the people I can think of, I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want any old loves coming up, and the one that I would like to died many years ago. So, we won't even go there. So, interestingly, I've just pulled 3. I'm going to pull a 4th. Oh, right. That makes sense to that because I'm going, okay, so the first card I pulled was moderation. So that's what that's saying is take everything in moderation. So this upcoming week, take whatever's coming at you in moderation. So don't believe it all, like I've just said. I also pulled the card of illusion. It was the last card, which is the mushroom dragon. He's, I've talked about him before. So this fits in with everything in moderation. Then the cranberry dragon, which is that bright red, he is a fire dragon, even though he's the cranberry dragon. And it's about prosperity. But that's why they're saying, not just the upcoming week, they're saying for quite some time. They're showing me December. They're saying you need to do things in moderation between now and the end of the year, end of December. It'll help with our prosperity, but it's another hold on because of this. So it keeps going. Moderation, illusion, prosperity, illusion. Actually, the prosperity could be, so they're saying we're being made to feel prosperous. They want, okay, I try not to do the political stuff, but they're showing me that, again, this not being told the truth is because it's an illusion. So whatever we're being fed, whether it's from the news, from social media, all of that stuff is an illusion. And then the other one is patience. So along with patience, it's also is because of this, so it really should have been this card I pulled first, is the Avocado Dragon, Patience. And they're saying, pack your patience. They're showing me a small suitcase. All right, they're going, have a go bag. We all know about those, right? Be prepared. Which I don't think, unless you're a real extremist, I doubt any of us are prepared for whatever. But that's what they're showing me. Pack your patience, which is really like be patient, be really patient. And that could not just be about globally. This is also about this week. It's going to test our patience. So whether that's work, the community, something is going to test our patience. But then they're saying, but everything's an illusion. So don't take it to heart, because this is, all right, they're saying it's the false matrix, the false illusions. It's what they want us to see. Now, those of us that have the gift of seeing beyond the veil, they're very worried about those of us that can do that, the same as people that can remote view. There's a lot more people that can do that these days. So that's why they're trying to bring the veil back. So a lot of us have broke through that veil, because when we choose to come here, we are, like the minute we're born or we take our first breath, our memory is wiped. It's sort of an automatic memory wipe. But those of us that are starseeds, which is usually our first incarnation or our only incarnation, which is me, it's I came here for this particular time, and that was why eventually the veil thinned for me, so I can see beyond that. But that's why we also need to be, all of that moderation is being very careful. Okay. That I channeled. Who was that from? They're saying that was from the 9. That they are, again, making sure those of us that are in position, there's a lot of us that have been placed around the globe, that they know that we can hear, we can see, we're very aware. And they're saying that's why the dragons have come forward for me more so this week than other weeks. They will be off planet, but not to be worried about that, and to keep doing what we're doing. So that's a nice message. So I hope that some of you can join myself and Dina next Saturday, 11 Eastern Standard Time. This is sort of slight deviation to what we've done before. Some of the feedback, it's like a long time to come and sit with us for an hour and a half and wait for a reading. So we thought that, oftentimes what happens when a group of people come together, we get similar messages for them. So that is, that's what we are hoping to achieve with bringing the community together. It will be sharing, not just about us sharing, but you sharing as well. What your perception is. Come with questions. I'll bring some of my oracle decks, whatever I'm guided to that day, and let me know. And again, please share this on YouTube. If you found this information interesting to you, please share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so, because it just helps me move my audience. And I'm still trying to figure out what is needed or what I should be doing. So I just do this general once a week, sometimes a couple of times a week, sort of what's going on for me, what you need to know, and pull some cards. So let me know, give me a thumbs up. please like and share. And if you have questions, I'm still doing a 45-minute free clarity call. So let me know if you have questions. Okay, have a good week.